We're going to welcome everybody to the libretto reading of Hai-Ting Chin's and my upcoming opera, Spacewalk. I want to begin by thanking Opera America, who awarded this project a discovery grant from its Women Composers Program supported by the Virginia B. Tulin Foundation. Today would not be possible without them, and we are grateful for their support. The subject of Spacewalk is the first all-female spacewalk by American astronauts Christina Cook and Jessica Meir outside the International Space Station on October 18, 2019, to conduct necessary repairs to the power system. Cook and Meir worked for 7 hours and 17 minutes during their walk. They completed the battery repair over 5 hours with additional get-ahead tasks done during another 2 hours. All of it was done in the vacuum of space, 260 miles above Earth at 17,500 miles per hour. Now, why create this opera about the first all-women spacewalk? Well, besides my goal as a composer to show the awe and beauty in human engineering and creativity, I relate to Christina Cook when she said, "There are a lot of people who derive motivation from inspiring stories of people who look like them, and I think it's an important story to tell." By the way, we have another all-female spacewalk coming up this October 30th with NASA astronauts Jasmine Mugbeli and Laura O'Hara, where they will remove electronics gear and replace solar array hardware on the orbital lab. Also, as you will hear in the libretto, NASA astronaut Tracy Caldwell Dyson stated, "As much as it's worth celebrating, many of us are looking forward to it just being normal." And I'm hoping this upcoming spacewalk adds to that sentiment. Now, the challenge posed to us was how to condense this event into a narrative. Rather than attempt to condense it into a linear narrative, Spacewalk is composed of 7 vignettes, one for each hour of the public broadcast from NASA, with a couple of flashbacks. The work intersperses real-time radio conversations of astronauts Cook and Meir from Mission Control Capcom Stephanie Wilson, recorded during their spacewalk, with scenes of other female astronauts in studio explaining the difficulties, dangers, and delights of their assignment. These exchanges between actors and forebearers are intended to provide the audience with crucial technical insight into the unfolding drama and deepen our understanding of their experience. What you will hear today is the remarkable work of our librettist Hai-Ting Chin, who is tasked with finding lyrics buried in more than a dozen hours of transcripts. Hai-Ting, though, is fortunately more than capable. Educated at the Eastman and Yale Schools of Music, Hai-Ting is a mezzo-soprano who has performed roles that range from Claudio Monteverdi and Francesco Cavalli to Duyun and Philip Glass for audiences at the New York City Opera, London West End, the Edinburgh Festival, and Carnegie Hall. This is a very abbreviated list. And I first saw her perform with my students at Texas Tech University, where we watched the 2012 revival of Einstein on the Beach. Her recent compositions and librettos include Science Fair, an opera with experiments, and a contribution to Astronautica, Voices of Women in Space with Me. And in fact, it was that Astronautica piece that I wrote called Her Speed Left the Winds Behind, which was taken from a line of Roman poet Virgil's Aeneid about the great warrior Camilla, just like that. That was the genesis of this work. So that was written for Trio Triumphatrix with Lindsay Hesselman, Hai-Ting Chin, and Kirsten Solik. The work set for treble voices with an interview with NASA astronaut Heidi Stephenson-Piper. That interview was recorded only days before her second space shuttle mission, included her recounting her first space mission. Hai-Ting's great success inspired me to take on this much larger and more complex subject of spacewalk. So now I will have Hai-Ting introduce our cast.
Hi everyone here and joining us online. I'm Hai-Ting Chin. This spacewalk, this libretto comprises only words that were spoken by these real life people. I have condensed many of them and put them in different contexts, but every word is theirs. I haven't created anything actually. But these lovely reader, actors, singers are hopefully going to create something now. We have Christina Cook and Jessica Meir, the spacewalkers, on October 18th, 2019. Christina Cook is played by Donna Breitzer, and Jessica Meir by Sarah Chaffee. And then we have the Capcom at Mission Control, who was an astronaut herself, Stephanie Wilson, played by Asha Lindsay. We have the Spacecaster for NASA TV, whose name at the time was Brandy Dean. She's being played by Rebecca Hargrove. We have 3 male characters being portrayed by Gregory Pernhagen. They are briefly on the ground, NASA Administrator Jim Bridenstine, and in space, astronauts Andrew Drew Morgan, and Luca Parmitano. And then we have 2 former spacewalkers in the studio with Brandy. That's Tracy Caldwell Dyson and Anne McLean, and they are both being read today by Kirsten Solek. And with that, the first scene takes place 2 days after the spacewalk, when Jessica and Christina are giving a press conference, and then we will go back to the day of the spacewalk.
That's an interesting question to consider. To be honest, this doesn't change my expectations. It wasn't necessarily planned to be an all-female spacewalk. When I found out Jessica was my partner, it didn't strike me as any different.
Since it was my first spacewalk in general, it meant a lot to me personally to have this first spacewalk with Christina. But we recognize it does carry a lot of weight to other people.
I wouldn't call it a weight. I would call it the opposite, something uplifting. It added to the moment when we stepped out the hatch.
Or floated out of the hatch. It does make a difference to identify with somebody, similar background, shared experience, what they look like, or that they have long curly brown hair. Who knows?
That's absolutely right. Throughout my life, I've drawn encouragement from mentors I can see reflections of myself in. Offering that for future space explorers was an honor. What I will say is, now we've crossed that line, hopefully it'll become commonplace. It won't even be a big deal down the road.
What is my next life dream? Going to space was the one thing I always said in my yearbook under future plans. I wrote, go for a spacewalk. I finally checked that box. I think another dream would be to go to the moon. That's always the image I had. When I wanted to be an astronaut, the very first drawing I did, I was standing on the surface of the moon. So maybe I'll make that my new dream.
The idea of having the honor of being the first woman to walk on the moon is almost too great to fathom. I do not know the selection process, but I do know that whoever does that mission will be the right person for the job and carry the hopes and dreams of everyone to explore. Of course, it would be a dream of mine, but for now, I'll settle for knowing that I'll at least know the first woman to walk on the moon.
This is Mission Control Houston. Good morning and welcome to coverage of today's historic spacewalk, the first to be conducted by 2 women. Astronauts Christina Koch and Jessica Meir are suited up inside the Quest airlock. Koch is wearing the spacesuit with the red stripes around the leg. She gets those stripes because, as today is her 4th spacewalk, she's the lead for this excursion. Meir is wearing the unmarked suit, as this is her first spacewalk.
Good morning, Nana and Goose.
Koch and Meir have already been in their spacesuits for more than 2 hours, working through what we call the pre-breathe protocol. The spacewalkers breathe pure oxygen.
For Goose.
And do very light exercise.
Switch depress pump power to on.
Small movements of their arms and legs to purge nitrogen from their bodies. So, like scuba divers, they don't risk getting the bends.
Depress pump power is on.
We're expecting them to spend about 5.5 hours in the vacuum of space. The main task for today is to change out a battery charge discharge unit, a piece of hardware that keeps electricity steadily flowing from the station's solar arrays to the systems they power: life support, communications, thermal control.
Copy. Take the depress pump man ISO valve to open.
Astro Andrew Morgan there, beginning the depressurization procedure. The spacewalk will not officially start until the spacesuits are switched to battery power.
Man ISO valve is open.
Copy open.
Airlock pressure 13.4.
While we continue depressurization, let's read some of your well wishes. This one's from Maggie, thanking the spacewalkers for showing
12.5.
girls around the world that reaching for the
Copy.
stars is possible. This one's from Women in STEAM, saying good luck on the EVA, which is a fancy way to say spacewalk.
9.1.
Extravehicular of activity. And Sonia says, no words can explain how important this is for all our daughters. You are the top girls. They are, indeed, orbiting 260 miles above the Earth. Winky
Six.
smiley face.
6.0.
Copy Goose.
Keep sending your well wishes in as well as your questions.
EV2 is an EVA.
EV1 is in EVA.
As we get closer to the beginning of today's spacewalk, astronaut Tracy Caldwell Dyson joins us here in Mission Control.
Thanks, Brandy. Good to be here.
She is a veteran spacewalker herself. 3 spacewalks, right? Here to share her own wisdom. Tracy, as a female spacewalker, does that seem like a milestone worth marking?
I think the milestone is this will now be considered normal.
4.0.
Women have been doing spacewalks
Copy.
for 35 years. We train like this every day. As much as it's worth celebrating, many of us are looking forward to it just being normal.
What advice would you give to somebody hoping to follow in your footsteps?
3.0.
Know yourself
Copy.
and the things you enjoy. Keep doing those things. That will bring out the best in you.
I suppose that's what you did. And Christina Cook and Jessica Meir.
I gotta believe that was the main ingredient in the formula.
2.3.
Copy.
By the time you're tucked in the screw lock, you feel confident, ready to go.
1.1.
And the EV hatch gauge matches that.
Copy.
Listen to their voices. They're calm. They know what they gotta do. They're probably both thinking, I just can't wait
I'm
till
showing the
that
depressed hatch
opens
gauge
and I
at less
see
than
what's ahead of us."
5.5 here.
Copy. With that, you have a go to open the EV hatch. Jessica, Christina, we're so proud of you. You'll do great today. We're going to be waiting for you here when you get home. I'm going to hand you over now to Stephanie. Have a great EVA.
Drew, thank you so much. It's been my pleasure working with you this morning.
Thank you, Drew.
And I can report the EV hatch opened and stowed.
And thank you, Drew. Good morning, Christina and Jessica. Take your power switches to bat, stagger switch throws, and expect a warning tone.
Hearing our first words of the day from astronaut
Copies,
Stephanie
Stephanie.
Wilson at the Capcom station. She'll be choreographing the spacewalk from the ground, speaking directly with Cook and Meir today.
EV1 power switch to bat.
Power switch to bat for EV2.
With battery power on now, the spacewalk has officially begun. 6:38 a.m. Central Time, a little ahead of schedule.
Copy. Take power EV1, EV2, 2 switches to off. OFF.
EV1, EV2, both power off.
Tracy,
Copy.
how important is this help from the ground? It
EV1,
seems like a
water
lot to
on.
remember on your own.
EV2, water on.
Copy. Take temperature control valve as desired.
EV2 is
Absolutely.
at 6.
EV1 is at 5.
Copy. Temperature control is at 5 for EV1, 6 for EV2.
Christina
Check
and
suits,
Jessica
P gauge,
have enough work with
4.2
their
to
hands and feet
4.4.
and brain outside.
4.3 for
It really
EV1.
helps to have someone like Stephanie.
4.4 for EV2.
Spacewalking is a
Copy.
team sport.
4.4 and 4.5.
I'll say
Visors
one
are
thing
required for day.
about the voice of Stephanie Wilson.
Stephanie for EV1.
She's a familiar
was
voice to
4.3.
them. It's
Copy.
comforting to know the
4.3
person you're
for
talking to on the
EV1.
ground. They probably feel Stephanie's out there with them.
And you may take your visors as required for day.
And she's no stranger
My
to being
visor
in
set for
space.
EV1.
Her experience is projected in her voice.
Copy.
And adds
That's
to the
complete.
confidence and comfort as they go on with their tasks.
Copy. We have all the suit parameter data here on the ground.
Just a couple of steps left.
We show a crew lock to press complete. The hatch
Hatch is
thermal
open.
cover is open. Christina, you may egress the airlock.
That was the
Copy.
go-ahead.
In work. EV1, I have egress.
Christina Cook there, the first to come out of the Quest airlock.
First order of business is that you inspect the load alleviating straps.
EV1's load alleviating strap is inspected and looks good. EV2's load alleviating strap is good. Good inspection.
Copy. For the safety tether config, attach EV1, yellow hook to safety tether reel on the aft external D-ring.
Copy. In work.
Tethers are important since in microgravity, everything from tools to tool bags and hardware, or even astronauts, can float away if they are not tethered down.
That's right, Brandy. What Christina is doing to ensure their safety is already expending a lot of energy with her fingers in a pressurized suit.
EV1 yellow hook on the aft external D-ring, and that is in unlock.
It is intricate and important. It's good she's taking her time with that task.
Copy. Attach aft safety tether green hook to EV1 red reel.
Copy. Green hook is on the red reel.
Copy. Christina, check gate closed and reel unlocked.
Copy. Confirm gate closed and reel unlocked.
EV2, release the waist tether from the airlock D-ring extender.
Jessica, you have a go to release your waist tether from the airlock D-ring extender for your egress.
Copy. I'm going forward and I've got a waist tether on.
Copy.
Seeing Jessica Meir.
Jessica is
Making
egressing.
not her first steps, but her first float.
10 seconds to a 20-second handover.
Christina, I'm going to do a little translation adaptation here.
Translation adaptation is a fancy way to say getting used to moving around in space.
Copy.
A very fancy way. In the vacuum of space, this is the first time they'll experience that frictionless motion in a spacesuit.
We'll wait for the handover to end for next steps.
On the ground, these suits would weigh 300 pounds. Of course, we don't have to worry about weight in space.
Okay, copy.
But they still have mass. This is a time for them to understand what forces they need for maneuvering and for stopping.
And Houston is back with you, and we are copying.
Copy. Thank you. At this point, I think I will do a little translation adaptation.
Copy. Jessica, would you both please give us a baseline HAP check?
For EV1, my hap is dry.
For EV2,
So,
HAP is
checks.
dry.
We'll hear that throughout the spacewalk. A periodic check to make sure there's
Copy.
not a lot
Dry
of water
HAPs.
in their helmet.
No water at all, we hope. Since the spacewalk we had with Luca, where he had water in his helmet, the HAP is a means to protect the crew.
HAP stands for
Helmet
Absorption
Absorption
Pad.
Pad.
Stephanie, I'm ready to start translating.
Copy, Jessica. For Christina, translate to the APFR on the starboard SETA cart, and you'll begin your SSRMS setup. And for Jessica, translate to P4. You'll temp stow the medium ORU bag on the handrail there.
That was a lot of fancy acronyms. You hear ORU
Orbital Replacement Unit, spare parts sent into space.
and SSRMS.
Space Station Remote Manipulator System, that's the robotic arm.
And CETA stands for Crew Equipment and Translation Aid.
The CETA cart is for exterior storage.
And you'll hear lots of talk about scoops.
Those are removable handles.
And different types of tethers. RETs,
Retractable equipment tether,
BRT,
body restraint tether, so spacewalkers don't come off of structure.
and a fancy way to say float off into space. And there are the APFR.
Articulated portable foot restraint that allows spacewalkers to have their hands free to work.
And of course the BCDU,
Battery charge discharge unit.
their main task for today.
And I think EV2, I will lead this translation.
And for this one, Christina leads the translation.
Stephanie, is that a change?
We were showing that Jessica would lead, but we will take your words on that.
Christina and Jessica, we copy. We would like Christina to lead.
Copy.
Jessica, are you in a good position?
Stand by. I'll get out of your way. Let me know when you're clear for me to start.
Copy. And I'm clear for you to start.
They finished that initial work, getting used to being in space and getting their tethers set up. Now they're on their way, moving to their work sites for their first task.
Seems almost unfair to say that they're getting started, but yeah, their first task is about to begin.
And EV1 is on face 1, translating port.
Copy, Christina.
EV2 also on face 1, right behind her. I'm right beneath your feet, so don't move down.
Copy.
We are past the tether points, correct?
Yep, they are nadir of the starboard CETA cart.
Copy.
Copy, Christina. Translate to the P4 handrail, 5104, and check your gauntlets in place prior to crossing the sarge.
Copy 5104, and I'll check my gauntlets.
Good readback.
Stephanie, I've reached handrail 5120.
And that is a good location to temp stow the ORU bag. Also check your gauntlets in place.
Copy, my gauntlets are in place.
Copy.
Am I translating towards Jessica?
Copy, Christina.
And I see you.
I am to Jessica. I'll stand by.
Stephanie, should I keep progressing outboard?
On
That's affirmed,
Jessica's
Jessica.
helmet cam,
You can
see
translate
the
to the
glow of
P6,
horizon
long
on the
spacer,
earth.
handrail,
As magnificent
5312
as that
to
is
attack
see, it will not be
your
enough
green
to
hook.
distract them from the task. That's how much you concentrate. You think as hard as you can.
And I have one warning and one caution if it's a good time.
Sure, I'm ready for that.
The warning is for sharp edges on P6. There's a P6 sharp edge hazard, and the caution, avoid contact with deployed and stowed radiators.
Okay, copy that.
Jessica, Christina, for your information, arm is in motion.
Copy.
Christina will be moving to get into place for her ride on the robotic arm.
This is the first
I am
time
at
she's been on the
5104.
arm.
Can you
Her
confirm
fourth
this is a good
spacewalk,
location for the
but her
SSRMS
first arm
setup?
ride.
I mean, if you're going to do a spacewalk, it sounds even better.
To have someone else translate to.
Right.
She's earned it. The challenges coming up is with this entire team.
Stephanie,
It'll be
EV1,
interesting for
now
folks
copy?
to listen up to the communication from inside the space station to outside the space station to hear
Christina, I copy you now. We're in a period of radicom for another 6 minutes. Please repeat your
They
last.
know how to speak the same
yes,
language.
my last was
and know
updating you
what
on
each
my
other
location,
needs.
handrail 5104, and wanted to check in
Plus,
with you for
a live person on the
SSRMS
end of the
setup.
arm, that
I
turns it
believe
up a
this is where
notch.
we're looking to be.
And you are correct.
Don't want to run them into anything.
Absolutely not. That's your buddy.
Christina, if you are ready to work with Luca, I can hand you over to him.
Standby 1. I'll ask to keep you for a minute longer while I reposition.
Copy that. 40 seconds to a 20-second handover.
Tracy, you have your own work to get to. Any parting thoughts?
One of the exciting moments to watch is when they're out on the external pallet. We'll see our people out there, our pink bodies, breathing in their own satellites, dangling from the space station. They will get the full view of the Earth, that big, plump blue planet. They'll see it underneath their feet, going beneath them at speed.
And we are 1 minute to sunrise.
Everyone send some positive vibes to space for these two top-notch spacewalkers. Pay attention to the unspoken coordination. It is meaningful to do something so unique with someone who cares about you. That's the case with those two, so watch for the camaraderie outside the space station today.
All right. Thanks for spending time with us. 43 minutes into what's planned to be a 5.5-hour spacewalk, so we have a lot of fun left to go.
Brandy, it's been a pleasure.
Christina, Jessica, back with you after the handover. Jessica, you'll retrieve the 4 scoops.
Copy, that's in work.
And Christina, I'll hand you over to Luca for GCA.
I am ready for GCA. I will rely to you for currents because my views currently do not consent me to really see the position.
Hearing Luca Parmitano's voice added to the mix as he is driving the space station's robotic arm.
Okay, Luca, I'm ready when you are.
Christina, I'm going to GCA to the published ingress position and then take ulterior motions from you if necessary. It's going to be a motion station forward, about 1 meter.
Copy that and concur.
Starting motion,
Copy.
and I am at the published position.
Copy. And Luca, that looks like a good position. GCA complete.
Okay, GCA complete. Brakes are on. Go for ingress.
Copy, brakes are on. Go for ingress.
And Stephanie, I've got all 4 scoops in the bag, so I believe my next step is to bundle the bag and bring this APFR to 2 Bravo.
That's affirmative. Jessica, and you'll also change the pitch to Papa, Papa.
Copy, Papa, Papa.
Good, read back.
Stephanie, for EV1, I have ingress, and ingress aid is stowed.
Copy of ingress and ingress aid is stowed. Nice work. Christina, when you are happy and ready for motion, you can give Luca a go to maneuver to the ELC-1 BCU-BCDU worksite.
Copy. Luca, I'm ready for motion to the BCDU worksite on ELC-1.
Christina, copy. There will be first a back-off maneuver away from the structure.
Luca, hold for a moment. I noticed that Jessica's safety tether is currently behind my helmet.
The brakes are on.
Copy, brakes are on.
Stephanie, I've got a clocking of 8, black on black, and a good pull twist test.
Copy. The rest of the settings are Papa, Papa, Fox, 12.
I see. Papa, Papa, Fox, and 12 is set.
Copy that. Next, install 2 scoops on the outer board, most B, C, D, U. The handles will both go towards the radiator.
And safety tether has been cleared. I can confirm all the tethers are in a good config.
And Christina, this is Luca. Great job on that. And I'm going to start setting up the arm for the back-off maneuver.
Copy.
Christina, we are starting motion. It will be a straight back away from the structure.
Copy, ready for motion.
Starting motion.
Copy, starting motion.
In motion.
Good motion.
Christina, if it's a good time, I have 1 warning and 1 caution.
It's a good time. I'm ready for warnings and cautions.
The warning is to avoid contact with the payload due to exposed sharp edges, corners, protrusions, entrapment, pinch points, and structural damage.
Copy, I will avoid it, and I have eyes on it.
Copy, and the caution, no vigorous body motion on ELC-1.
Copy both.
Christina, this is 1, Robo 1. We are ready for you to fly you to the published position. Is a manual motion. So when you're a go for me to start moving, I'm ready.
Okay, Luca, I'm a go.
I'm going to start motion towards the ELC.
Copy. Good motion.
And we are 10 seconds to a 20-second handover.
Stephanie, can you confirm the handles?
A short handover of satellites. Should be back in a moment.
For a couple of minutes there, maybe more than a couple of minutes, I experienced what it's like to be a goldfish in a fishbowl, from the point of view of the goldfish. I felt some water on the back of my head. It was not a normal feeling, so I told ground. We saw the water trickling, then I felt it covering my ears. At that point, we called the terminate for the EVA, and the water kept trickling until it covered my eyes and my nose. It was really hard to see. I couldn't hear anything. I went back using just memory, back to the airlock. I was miserable, but okay.
Wait until after the handover.
Yep, agreed.
Pretty amazing view out here.
It is. Phenomenal.
And Jessica, the scoop handles are towards the radiator.
Copy, that's in work.
Stephanie, I have to ask, where are we flying over? It's beautiful.
Christina, Jessica, we are flying over the Middle East.
And Christina, we are ready for your GCA for your next position.
Okay, copy that. As a starting point, we could try the low hover position.
Okay, I will try to do the low hover. If you are ready for motion.
Ready for motion.
First motion is down towards your feet.
Copy and ready. Good motion.
Copy, good motion.
Okay, I'll start work here. So we'll call this GCA complete for now.
Copy, GCA complete. Brakes coming on. And the brakes are on.
Copy, brakes are on. And Jessica, that was GCA complete, ready for you to come.
Okay, copy. I'm headed back to you, and I've already retrieved my green hook.
Copy that. I see your safety tether bouncing. Figured you were close by.
And I have a great view of you, Nana.
Copy that. Don't have eyes on you yet. Oh, now I do. Hi, you're close.
Sure am. I'm gonna put this one big hook down.
Christina, next would be the GCA to access H1 and H2.
Okay, and I have good access to those now, so no GCA required.
Robo 1 copies.
Copy. Tell us the serial number.
In work, I see 0028.
Copy 0028. That's expected. Installed 2 scoops, 1 on H1, 1 on H2, with the handles pointing station forward.
Copy.
We're now at 2 hours and 4 minutes into today's spacewalk, and everything's moving quickly. Christina Cook now ready to remove the new battery charge discharge unit from where it's been waiting on the external logistics carrier.
Stephanie, for EV1, I have 2 scoops installed.
Copy. Also check your gauntlets in place. This is just prior to you having the box in your hand.
The box is in my hand, and my gauntlets are in place.
Copy. You can remove the unit from soft dock.
Copy. We are removed from soft dock.
Copy. Once you are happy, you can work with Luca and give him a go to maneuver to the P4 setup position.
Copy that, Stephanie. Jessica, before I work with Luca, did you need to get any words in?
I don't think so. I'm just headed back to you.
Luca, I feel motion.
We are in position hold, Christina,
Oh, okay.
so you shouldn't be feeling any motions.
Copy that. I think it was just the momentum of the box. Jessica, if you have time to look, there is a beautiful sunrise developing.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Oh,
So I'm in position watching the sunset.
place to be.
We copy, Jessica. Sunrise in 3 minutes.
Copy, Stephanie.
Next is SSRMRS egress.
And the brakes are on.
Copy.
You have go for egress.
Stephanie, the brakes are on, so I'm ready for steps.
Copy. For the safety tether swap, red to your green reel. Then remove your green hook from P4 handrail and stow the green hook on your red reel.
Copy. Green hook is on the red reel.
Copy. Check green hook closed and locked and release the red.
Green hook is closed and locked. Working on the red.
Copy.
It is removed.
Copy. Retrieve yellow hook from the forward tether point. Stow it to your green reel.
Copy. The yellow hook is on the green reel. Gate closed, slider locked. And the green reel is in unlock. Red reel is also in unlock.
Copy, Christina. That's a good config. Jessica, nice job being quiescent.
Am I as good at Drew as being quiescent?
You are better, and understand you are channeling your inner Drew. I'll take a glove, hap, and gauntlet check from you both, and we are 10 seconds from a 20-second handover.
My gloves have no change, and my hap is dry for EV2.
Copy, EV2.
For EV1, no change in gloves. Hap dry.
I was miserable, but okay.
I think we're in our handover already.
I was lucky to be back inside in no time, as soon as the two compartments were equalized. They doffed my helmet, wiped my face from all the water, about 3 pounds of water, and that was the end of it. Imagine walking around with your eyes closed in a fishbowl.
Christina, when you are happy, when both you and Jessica are clear and tethers and tools are clear, you can give Luca a go to maneuver to EVA Park.
Copy. Let me give it a once-over. I'm showing tethers and tools are clear. And Luca, with that, I'm also clear, and you have a go to maneuver.
Christina, Jessica, this is Drew and Luca. It was a pleasure working with you guys. We are ready to start the motion, and after that, we will go quiescent.
Copy that, Luca. It was awesome working with you on the arm.
Thanks, Luca. Thanks, Drew.
We are 20 seconds from a 20-second handover, and PET is about 2 hours, 35 minutes.
Luca Parmitano wrapping
Limiting
up his activity
consumable
for the day. He's
7
been driving
hours
the
and 40
robotic arm with
minutes
Christina Cook
for
on the end of
EV1
it.
and
But now
EV2
that they are
battery.
safely on the port, sections of the space station's truss, his job is done.
Always with robotics, operations clearances are a concern. A lot of choreography, a lot of communications. During the STS-120 mission, I was the robotic arm operator. We were building the International Space Station. During that mission, we had to relocate. One of the solar arrays, fold it up, and then re-extend it using the robotic arm. During extension, we had a dynamic event. One of the guide wires tearing a hole in one of the solar panels. On orbit, we have limited resources, like Apollo 13. When we're in space, we have to work with what is on board. With the robotic arm and the boom sensor system, we hooked those two together, put a spacewalker at the end, and sent him to the work site so we could continue the extension. Operations we had not performed before. We had to rely on our skills and each other.
Christina
Christina,
and Jessica
is the
Meir
box
now
going to be
both
clear
on
of the
their way
stowed
to the
radiator?
P6 site. where the old battery charge discharge unit is waiting to be replaced.
Affirmative.
While they make their way, we'll take some questions. First up, Lindsay wants to know why the crew needs to work outside the space station. They spend the bulk of their time working inside on space experiments, but occasionally things on the outside break or new things need installing. Spacewalks are one of the most dangerous things that astronauts ever do, so anytime we can, we use robotics. But sometimes that's just not possible, as was the case today.
And are you going to continue translating with your feet towards the radiator site like you asked? Looks like you can without any issue.
Okay, copy. Do you have a good view of the box right now?
Stand by. So it is down toward your left leg, fins away from structure and away from you, so it's in a good config.
Okay, I'm gonna pull it a little bit closer. Wait, stand by, stand by.
Okay,
The box is coming up towards your head.
I see that, yep. I'll move more inboard.
Okay, I think it's in a better position now.
Yep, I agree.
This question is from Miss Landry's science class. Since the space station is solar powered, what happens when you're on the dark side of the Earth? That is one of the things that the battery charge discharge unit takes care of. While the solar rays are in sunlight, it stores the extra power, so just because they move into the dark, they don't have to turn off the science experiments.
That box is moving really well in the direction of your right hand, or your right arm if you were to extend it, so it's in a good spot.
My left arm, this arm.
Sorry, your left arm. As you move down, let me just double check with something.
Am I okay with the box if I swing my arm up here now?
Yes,
I can stay where I am right now.
I agree. I don't think it's a bad spot. Goose, what you may want to do is, now we aren't translating, is fold it back more.
How's that?
That's better. Stephanie, we are ready for next steps.
Copy. If you are happy with the access to the crew log bag, then you can ingress the APFR and report the serial number of the failed unit.
Copy.
And I'm going to ingress.
Renee is asking, what happens during the swap of the failed power unit? Will electricity black out? No. The space station has 24 of these battery charge discharge units. We just do want the full amount of power, so we want to get this one swapped out.
Is that helmet contact, or are we good? Nope, we're still good.
Yeah, I think you'll be pointing away from me enough. I've got a good view of your feet. Right foot's not completely locked in. You'll need to rotate a bit. Bring your toe in a little bit more. There you go, there you go.
Got it. Stephanie, I have ingressed, and I can see the serial number is 011.
Copy 011 for the serial number. That's expected.
I have my BRT ret to H2.
With everything
And it is
carefully
locked out
tethered,
with slack.
so nothing will float away, the spacewalkers will now be removing
Copy
that old
BRT
battery
red
charge
locked
discharge
out with
unit.
slack.
They've
You can
got two
retrieve the
bolts to loosen with a ratchet wrench, and then
Copy. I have the ratchet wrench.
Copy for H1. Confirm tape line flushed to the H1 scoop.
Copy. And I have it in loosen. And I'm in a good position with the handle to try and break torque.
You have a go to break torque on H1 less than 1 turn.
And Goose, what I could take from you is downward pressure on the handrail if you've got the hand. If you don't, I think I'm good, but it's just as an extra precaution.
It's okay, I've got a hand.
Okay, stand by. Torque broken, quarter turn.
Copy quarter turn H1. Confirm tape line flush to H2.
Copy, that's affirmative. And I have tape line flush on the H2 with the wrench.
Copy break torque H2 less than 1 turn.
Broken
both
on
of these
H2,
bolts now
quarter
loosened,
turn.
and we'll take another question. Miss
Copy
Harrison's
quarter
science
turn
class wants to
H2.
know how
Stow
long
the ratchet
battery
wrench
charge
in the
discharge
crew
unit
lock
lasted.
bag.
In
It has
work.
been on the station for 19 years, so it had a good long life. But another one failed earlier this year, so we'll want to look at what might be causing that.
Christina, I have PGT settings when you're ready.
And Jessica, we are so close that actually moving my swing arm out, I'm going to my left.
Right. How's that?
That's good. The little movement you just did helped.
I can also move my feet in the other direction, opposite of yours, if that helps us rotate a bit more.
Perfect. I have the PGT, and Stephanie, I'm ready for the PGT settings.
PGT settings alpha 7 counterclockwise 2.
I have Alpha 7, counterclockwise 2.
Good. Settings. Confirm tape line flush to the H1 scoop.
In work, tape line flush.
Copy. Release H1. About 7 turns.
Copy, in work.
Christina Cook getting started releasing the first of 2 bolts. While she works on that, we'll take a question from students in Ohio.
I did 5 turns, but it started skipping at about 4.
Copy. Started skipping at 4. 5 turns total. Check status indicator unlock for H1.
They're asking whether the astronauts have time to enjoy the view of Earth. The astronauts have to concentrate pretty heavily on their task, but occasionally there's a chance to look down and see Earth below. If they were doing so right now, which they probably aren't, given what they're working on, they would be looking down at Ethiopia and Kenya.
Okay, and I had a torque out after about 2 turns.
Copy. Torque out after 2 turns. Christina, this is the case where we'd have you check body positioning, that you're lined up over the bolt and the PGT and the socket are centered relative to the scoop.
Copy that, in work. I can confirm good body position. The socket is centered in the scoop.
Is the tape line still flush?
Yes, the tape line is flush.
Copy. We're ready for you to continue release.
Copy, in work. Releasing.
Copy.
Okay, I have 20 turns so far. The indicator is not quite to unlock. I'm pausing to see if you all would like me to continue.
Copy. You have 20 turns so far, and the status indicator is not yet in the unlock position. Checking.
We have a question from Girls Leadership Academy. Why are you counting so many times you unscrew the bolt? The crew members are careful to count on each bolt or screw so they know exactly how tight those are, to what engineers here on the ground recommend.
I can see good movement on the box from H1 side.
And I report it did seem to be jacking well. I just let up a little bit. I may have actually been applying too much pressure downward on the PGT.
Christina, we copy your report. We'd like you to continue releasing a few more turns.
Copy, in work. You see it jacking? Oops.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Stephanie, I put 9 more turns on it. I didn't have a lot of resistance on the turn, and I see the status indicator is still in the same position, not quite all the way to unlock. The line is about 1 centimeter away from the tick mark for the unlocked position.
Copy. Checking.
That might be okay in tolerance.
And Christina, we copy your report. We would like you to stow the PGT and try to remove the battery from soft dock.
Copy, in work. All right, Goose, this is where I'm going to scoot inboard,
Okay, you want me to go outboard?
if you're able. Oh, and now we're good. I'm able to release the BCDU from soft dock.
All right, excellent. Nice work. You can unlock the RET and stow it back on your BRT.
Copy, in work.
We also have a question from Emmeline asking, when astronauts are on this side of the Earth, opposite of the sun, how do they see what they're doing? The space station makes a full orbit every 90 minutes, so 45 minutes of sun, then 45 minutes of dark. But when they do not have sunlight, they have lights on their helmets to work by.
I think I'm going to bring it straight out.
Okay, clear of structure.
Stephanie, we're ready for next steps.
Christina, you can soft dock this unit and lock out the RET leaving slack. And we are 1 minute from sunset.
Copy. Are you able to see those alignment marks?
I can. You look good right now if you go straight down. Keep going straight. Keep going straight. Looks like a perfect alignment to me.
Okay, I am soft docked.
Copy. The unit is soft docked.
Nice work, Christina. That was smooth.
Stephanie, ready for PGT settings.
Alpha 7 clockwise 2.
Okay, I have that set.
Confirm tape line flush to the H2 scoop.
Tape line flush.
Drive H2 16 to 17 turns.
Copy. And Goose, what I'll ask you for is from your angle, just to get 2 different angles, make sure the socket's perpendicular.
Another one of those periods where we're out of range of the satellites. Crew members right in the middle of installing that new battery charge discharge unit. They're 3 hours and 26 minutes into today's spacewalk. We have a note from a class in Knoxville wanting to know how long Christina and Jessica have been on the International Space Station. It is the 23rd day for Mir, and for Cook, it is her 217th. Christina had her mission extended. Once she's done, she'll break the record for the longest single spaceflight by a woman.
Christina, Jessica, back with you after our handover.
Copy.
And I just drove it 16 turns. We had a good green LED, but then as I was retrieving the PGT, I touched the trigger. It went to red, but it had been green. Jessica, you didn't happen to see the torque on there, did you?
I did not.
Okay. To get a torque count, I'd have to hit the bolt one more time. Would you guys like me to do that?
Copy. Christina, thanks for the offer. We would like that.
Okay, I'm hitting the bolt one more time.
Copy.
Tape line flush. 9.5 foot-pounds of torque, green LED.
Copy on H2, 9.5 torque, 16 turns, green light, status indicator lock. Same settings for H1.
Affirm.
That's one of the bolts done now on the new battery
Alpha
charge discharge
7
unit.
clockwise 2.
1 to go.
And I have tape line flush. Alpha 7, clockwise 2.
Copy, drive H1, 4 to 5.5 turns.
Copy and work. H1 is driven, 5 turns, 9.0 foot-pounds of torque. Green
And with
LED
that second
status
bolt done
indicator
now,
is in lock.
the new battery
Copy on
charge discharge unit is
H1, 9
installed in the old
torque,
one's place.
5 turns,
It should be
green
ready to
light,
start checking
status
out.
indicator lock.
But that'll take a while for the team here on the ground
You
to
can
verify.
unlock and remove Jessica's ret.
Copy.
Goose, we did it. Copy ret.
Great.
I believe the next step is just heading back. We're kind of the opposite way of shepherding this BCDU, but since you'll be outboard for the translation home, I'm planning to translate in the orientation you're in right now.
Okay.
I'll be doing a kind of pirouette to get into that position. And you could maybe hold your safety tether closer to structure so I don't snag it on my way around.
Stand by. How about that?
Perfect. We won't get into any trouble halfway through this. All right, I'm gonna egress.
Ready for me to release my tether back?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Stephanie, we are in formation. We are ready to form fly back.
And we copy. And we like it.
All right, Jessica, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, heading inboard.
Stephanie, did you give us a PET clock? I can't remember.
You're right. I did not. PET currently 3 hours, 40 minutes, and a limiting consumable remains. EV1, EV2 battery, 7 hours, 40 minutes.
This is Mission Control Houston. The spacewalkers moving to those next tasks now that the main task is done. Coming up is a special event in honor of our milestone for the first spacewalk to include 2 women.
And Stephanie, these scoops are both going back on battery 1 in the orientation I found them, away from the radiator, right?
That's affirmative. Battery 1 handles away from the radiator, and we are a few minutes or so out from our VIP call.
Copy.
Copy.
Stephanie, I am starting to route a long wire tie through the Nader MLI skirt loops.
Copy, Christina, and you can use the short wire tie.
Copy. In work.
Christina, Jessica, please stand by for a call from the President of the United States.
I guess it is over to you at this point, sir. It is an exciting day. Just so everybody knows, this is a short window for the downlink, and they've got important work to do. But what a big day. Mr. President, it's over to you. The link is live. They are listening. They are on the outside of the space station.
We can hear you. Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Hello, thank you.
Thank you very much. And
Hello,
first
thank
of
you.
all, thank you. First of all,
There is about a 4 to 5 second delay.
Thank you.
we don't want to take too much credit. There have been many other female spacewalkers before us. This is just the first time that there have been 2 women outside at the same time. We've talked a lot about it up here. For us, this is really just doing our jobs. We've been training for 6 years, preparing for coming out here and doing our jobs. We were the crew that was tasked. At the same time, we recognize it is an historic achievement, and we give credit to those who came before. A long line of female scientists, explorers, engineers, astronauts, we have followed in their footsteps to get where we are today. We hope to inspire everybody, not only women, but everybody that has a dream, a big dream, and is willing to work hard to make that dream come true. All of us that have made our way up here have worked hard through our lives, and I can tell you that hard work certainly did pay off. This is my first space flight, my first spacewalk. It is an incredible feeling, I'm sure you can all imagine. One I will never forget. I'm extremely fortunate to be sharing this moment with Christina, who is not only my colleague, but also a close and dear friend. So it's our honor to be out here today, to be representing whatever is significant to whatever individual desires and hearts.
Wondering if we might have lost the link at this point.
Well,
Okay, back to the scoops.
That again was a call from the White House to the spacewalkers on the International Space Station, Christina Cook and Jessica Meir, who are now just under 5 hours into today's historic spacewalk, the first to be conducted by 2 women.
Christina, Jessica, we're resuming normal operational communications.
Copy. Thanks, Stephanie.
And for your
I wanted to check in with you on next steps and where I'm at. Go ahead.
just wanted to report Braddycom for the next 5 minutes.
Okay, copy that. I have the MLI skirt flaps tied back with the wire ties to the handrails, and I am ready for next steps.
I've got both these scoops on and the handles are away from the radiator, and I think I will start translating back to 4B.
Copy, come back to 4B. That's heading back to 4B?
2B, sorry.
Okay.
I'm at 4B.
Okay, no, that's good.
I'm at
okay.
4B.
I'm glad, yes.
Yeah.
Good.
Christina, we copy scoops installed on battery 1. Jessica, sorry about that. On the 4 Bravo side.
This is Mission Control Houston, and we are joined by astronaut Anne McClain, the most recent person on Earth to have done a spacewalk.
It's great to be here this morning.
At this point, the crew is at 5 hours and 18 minutes into today's spacewalk. It was planned for 5.5 hours, but not unusual to go a bit over than expected.
You'll hear planned tasks and get-ahead tasks. Up on station, it takes a lot to get out the door, so once the 2 crew are out there, it's important to get the maximum done. We're always looking at the time, crew member fatigue, consumables, things like battery. They'll look at those times, balance it with the crew, and decide how long to go. We'll see how much more they can get done.
All right, so I'm going to continue to move forward on the starboard side, and I'll make sure that my tether stays over you, doesn't get caught on you, the back of your foot.
Okay, copy.
So Anne, when Tracy was with us earlier, it was the beginning of the spacewalk. Everybody was very fresh. 5.5 hours in. How are you feeling?
The spacewalk goes quicker for the spacewalkers than for the ground crew. They're so focused on where their equipment is, what the task is, where they're going, to make this time efficient. The metabolic rate when they're outside, it can be the equivalent of a marathon, getting toward the 20th mile here. But one of the things that they're trained to do is to hone in more mentally. You're going to hear them being very deliberate, very clear with the ground. The good part is the nerves have calmed down. At first, your heart can really pound, but by this time, they're comfortable and focused on the task.
They've done a great job of getting through the task so far. Again, they did that battery charge discharge unit. They did get that battery charge discharge unit switched out. They've got the new one in place, and early checks show that it looked good.
It does appear to just be not a twist, but yours is just over mine, and once I move forward, I think they'll stop pulling.
Okay, but can you see mine right now?
Yes, I can. It's coming off of your left side, straight back to the tether point.
Off my left side.
Yeah, so it's like in front of you it is from your right D-ring extender, but across your body.
Is it behind me?
It's not behind your back, it's just off of your left side. So for example, if you put your feet towards it, it would come down in front of you, and then if you wanted it on your right side, you just put your feet back down.
So I need to spin my legs around.
Let me get my eyes on, one moment. It's just off of your left side, so it's not around you. It's off of your left side and torso back. If you, for example, put your feet towards structure and toward the truss, and now kick them up, there it goes.
Since we have a quiet moment and an expert here to answer, we're going to take some more questions. This one coming from Molly, asking, what is the equipment on your backs?
The big white blocks, those are called the PLIS, the Portable Life Support Systems, the engine of the spacesuit. Rather than an outfit that you put on, think of it as a very small spacecraft, so that's the engine of the spacecraft. Everything that the human body needs to stay alive. It's where the battery is kept for your glove heaters, your lights, and a sublimator to cool the water and pump it around your body. The temperature can swing, if you're in the sun or in the shade, by about 400 degrees.
Christina, the long tether is hung up here.
Okay, I see it, thank you.
From a 7th grade class in New Jersey, why are the astronauts wearing mirrors on their wrists?
That is a way the crew can see their spacesuit controls, which are on the chest. With the helmets and the bulky suits, they're not able to bend their necks. So they use those mirrors to see the controls and adjust them as needed. They can do things like adjusting the water temperature, and to help with that, those controls are printed backwards so they show up correctly in the mirror.
Christina, watch out. I can see.
Your safety tether?
Yeah, okay. It just got moved.
Yep, and I've got to go down.
Now, if you translate towards your feet.
Yep, that's what I was just thinking.
Okay, perfect. And you're clear of it now.
Okay, great. Thanks, you saved me.
Phew.
We talked earlier about how important tethers are, and we have a question from Arthur asking, what would happen if an astronaut's tether breaks loose and the astronaut swings away from the station?
That is a scenario that we don't want to get into, and we've trained a lot to avoid. But if you were to completely come off of station without your tether, attached to the PLIS on your back is what we call the SAFER, the Simplified Aid for EVA Rescue, like a small jetpack, and you can fly yourself back to station. That said, these tethers are actually very robust.
You can see a lot more of the atmosphere out here than through the windows inside. Really, really incredible view.
Copy that. Very nice.
No words and no pictures can prepare you for the moment you look out at Earth. These spacewalkers, the only thing that separates them from the vacuum of space is the visor right in front of their face. If there is a word for the opposite of claustrophobia, that's kind of how you feel. The most infinite void you can imagine, and Earth is the closest thing to you. Looking at Earth, you feel close and connected, and the significant sensation for me, of course it's different for everybody, is when I look away from Earth and realize how much more there is to explore, how much further we can go.
Christina, Jessica, to give you a report on your work today, we show that the battery charge discharge unit is fully powered up and working.
That is awesome news. Thank you.
Amazing news, Stephanie. That makes us very happy.
Makes us happy too. Makes us very happy as well. And we're 1 minute from a 20-second LOS.
Copy that?
Mir and Cook starting to move back into the Quest airlock. Spacewalk won't be considered over
You have to take your time. I think this is a time.
until they begin
Good investment in our
repressurizing the
closing
Quest airlock.
airlock up, so
Okay, I've got it vertical.
great.
I don't think I'm going to be able to get any bungees around it.
No, I don't think so either.
I believe that humans have
I've got it
always
vertical now. Seems to
had a
rotate.
thirst for knowledge,
I'm just going to keep my hand
a
on
quest
it
for
right
the
now.
unknown. Looking at the stars made me feel that there was more than Earth, more to learn about the universe.
But
Time
is
on
it
orbit
possible to
is
move your feet
precious.
forward?
Okay,
It's a
yeah.
wonderful place to
Yep.
conduct research,
Okay, I can stay in this
technologies,
position and hold the
developments,
ACDU.
medical and
Copy.
material research.
I'm trying to
Space
head first
exploration
ingress?
improves
The other
life here
option,
on
you're
Earth.
not going to be able to get your
It
feet
gives us an
all the way
opportunity
because of a BCD.
when we look back on Earth
Lengthwise,
to
then you could
reflect
probably
and
put your
really
feet
to
over.
realize
Okay, we could try
how
that.
fragile
I
it
don't know if that's
is,
what's happening now.
how much we have to do
It
to
looks like
preserve
you're
it for
almost
our
dead.
future
I'm
generations.
gonna move my feet port now.
I believe this
I don't know
is
if you're
what
able
I
to
was
see
destined
them.
to
Let me know
do.
if I'm walking them in a bad spot.
I was
You're gonna
always
be right
encouraged
up
to pursue
against
my
the
dreams.
BCDU.
Okay.
I was not limited in any way or
Can you
told there
bring
was
us more
something
for
I
me?
couldn't achieve.
More port.
What should be the future of human exploration?
More station.
I believe the whole world should be
Forward?
involved in deciding where humans should
Yeah.
go. Once we are able to
that?
go outside of low Earth
There you
orbit,
go.
whether it's to the moon or
You're
to
good.
Mars, it's vitally
underneath the
important that the
BCD
research, the
now.
technologies, the reflection we're able to do in space benefits all our lives.
Love you.
I do believe
Copy.
I've found my
And I'm
purpose.
going for the thermal cover.
I hope
Coffee.
I
Right
can
now,
help
your feet are between
inspire.
me and the BCDU.
Okay, I see that.
The BCDU is slipping up now.
Yeah, see if you can put that loop the other way. There you go. That looks better.
Okay.
Nice work.
Damn this BCDU.
I know. And Stephanie, thermal cover is closed.
Copy, thermal, cover closed. Nice work. For EV1 and EV2, take your water switches to off, OFF. That's the forward position.
EV1, water off.
EV2 water off.
Copy EV1, EV2, and this starts a 2-minute timer. Christina, while we wait, you can verify the outer hatch is clear of hardware.
Copy. In work. All right, this is where I'll need to thread the needle again with my legs.
Okay, stand by. Let me see if I can help you because the BCDU has moved a bit.
Oh, I see what it is. It's the scoop on the BCDU that's holding me up.
If we need to, I can try to take one of those off.
Right, now I'm having trouble getting any more port at all. Can you scooch port?
Yeah, I'm coming right up against the hatch now. Does that help?
Yeah. And the hatch is clear of hardware.
Copy, hatch is clear of hardware. Now you can close and lock the hatch.
In work. EV hatch is closed and latched.
Nice work.
Copy EV hatch closed and locked. With that, we show the detailed timeline complete. We transition now to the repress cue card with some checks for both EV1 and EV2.
With the repressurization of the Quest airlock now in work, Christina Cook and Jessica Mears safely back inside, we are calling the end of today's spacewalk at 1:55 p.m. Central Time. They spent a total of 7 hours and 17 minutes outside of the space station on this historic spacewalk.
Yes, today is definitely a significant event. Huge praise for Jessica and Christina. They did an amazing job. You know, the saying is, if you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, you go together.
Thank you
EV1
so much
connected.
for being here with us.
EV2
Anytime, glad to
connected.
be here.
Copy. Jessica, take power EV1, EV2, 2 switches to on.
In work, power for EV1 and EV2 are on.
Copy that, and with that, Christina and Jessica, with your outstanding work today, you have restored 2B to full power and completed some get-ahead tasks. On behalf of the team, we thank you. It has been a pleasure to work with you today.
Stephanie, the pleasure has been all ours. It's been truly great to work with you.
Yeah, Christina and Stephanie, it has been an incredible display of teamwork. Congratulations to all of our colleagues that planned an unforeseen spacewalk in just a few days. Christina and I feel privileged that doing our job today meant working with all of you and rising to the challenge.
And today was especially an honor as we recognize this is a milestone. It symbolizes exploration by all that dare to dream and work hard to achieve that dream. It's a tribute to those who paved the way for us to be where we are, and we hope an inspiration to all future explorers.
Christina, Jessica, we appreciate those words. It's a heartfelt sentiment. We very much appreciate your words. And with that, I'll hand you over to Drew.
Christina and Jessica, incredible work today. Welcome home. We're glad to have you back, and we're so proud to be up here with you. With that, please take your O2 actuator to press.
Drew, it's great to hear your voice again, and great to be back home.
Great to hear your voice, Drew. And EV2 is in press.
Copy EV2 in press.
EV1 is in press.
EV1 in press. Christina, check that the EV at MPEV is closed.
Closed.
Copy closed. Right. I'm going to start pressurize. EV1, EV2, how's the rate?
Almost imperceptible so far.
Concur.
Okay. We'll increase it slightly.
Copy.
Copy.
Thank you everyone for coming. We have a reception right outside, and if you have any questions, you can ask any of us anything. Thank you again.
Thanks. Good job not drowning. Good work. Good work.